Today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence, AI as it's called. I wonder how many of you are aware of AI and how many of you have just been trying to avoid the emergence of this whole new technology. But whether you avoid it or not, whether you like it or not, whether it's something you want to be part of or not, it is predicted that in the next 10 years, it or so, maybe 20, it will replace even 50% of the workforce. Now think about that. Many of the jobs that we do today, the menial jobs, the even things that you do in accounting or in real estate as a broker or in the stock market or any of these kind of repetitive things that can be learned will be learned by machines. And when they are learned, you will find that they have replaced your jobs. Now, I'm not saying this as some kind of threat. This is the prediction of many of the scientists. And it's fascinating if you stay with an open mind and learn about it, because the idea of this little contemplation today is to watch how the future has often crept up on us and we've not been ready for it. In fact, the truth is that sci-fi writers have even back into the 50s and 60s were predicting the onslaught of something like this. And the time is coming. We're seeing it in our homes right now. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, Zana. Welcome, guys. And please let me know your comments even as I'm talking. I'm reading your comments right there on the screen. So I'm happy to interact and let you and respond to anything you might say. So feel free to type away. Um, so yeah, I was saying that artificial intelligence has crept into our homes, and we are right now in the midst of this technology shift already. Now we may think that we can get away from it, but I'm sorry to tell you that even if you don't buy one of those new devices that are made by Amazon, I'm not going to say the name in case you have one around, or by Google, um, it's happening either way, and it's coming to the workplace. It's coming into our cars. Your first robot is going to be your car very soon. They're going to be driving you all over the place, and they're going to do things and park themselves and do all that kind of stuff. But it's not limited to that. The things that are being manufactured, the things you do as a stockbroker, a real estate person, in any kind of task that is repetitive, can and will be taken over by AI. It is fascinating to see how much is possible. Just get on YouTube and look at some of the documentaries that are out there, and you'll begin to see that this thing is really upon us just as electricity or cars were upon us once upon a time. So, what I'd like to now look at is this is not about getting us to be fearful of it, it is getting us to be prepared. It is getting us to start looking at how we tend to get sucked in to things like these kind of technologies, just the way we got sucked into media, the way we got sucked into TV and cinema and the internet and everything else. And I'm as sucked into the whole technology thing as anyone else is. Jennifer asked a great question. How do we direct the narrative to create peace in the world? And I would love to do that, to answer that one. But give me a few moments, I'll get to that. So the emergence of AI, I believe, is something that has been predicted not only in 50s and 60s by our writers with their imaginations, but now they're predicting further. The scientists are predicting further how this thing is going to unfold in our lives. To sit back and pretend it's not happening is quite foolish. Just to actually face it is what we need to know. So the roots of the problem are this. If you actually look at how we function as human beings, you'll begin to see where the problem lies. Most of us sit with our thoughts and allow them to run amok over us. They're constantly playing in our head, and we sit with our thoughts like some kind of a brainwashed person, like a zombie, going like this. Now, if that looks ridiculous, think about it. When you're listening to your thoughts, when your mind is running amok with dozens of thoughts going from this to that to the other, are you not just sitting there looking at it, wondering what the heck's going on? Completely, it's run out of control. You have no way in which to stop it, no way in which to negate it, no way in which to be able to deal with it. Unfortunately, our society never prepared us for that. Our parents, our teachers, our schools, our colleges never prepared us for that. How do you observe the mind? How do you tame it? How do you control it? Now, this has been exploited by the media. Cinema started first, learning how to exploit the human mind and our tendency to be and sort of captivated by something we see in front of us. Then came television, radio was there before all of them. And then came the internet, and then came video games. Well, perhaps not in that order, but the fact is that one after the other, different aspects of the media have been learning how to captivate us and our interest and our attention and our minds. And we sit there like completely enraptured by this whole process. Now, that's exactly where AI comes in. It is learning all our patterns. It is learning all our behaviors. It is learning everything that is important to us. Right there through your phone, through your laptop, through your iPad. It is learning everything it can about you. Through your bank, through everything possible. It is learning through every interaction. It is learning what makes humans what we are. And the only way to outsmart it is something very simple. Learn to outsmart your own mind first. Learn to actually watch your thoughts and try doing one thing which I find the most effective. Believe nothing. Believe nothing, not only in terms of what your religion tells you, or in terms of what your politicians tell you, in terms of what the media tell you, in terms of what tomorrow's AI will tell you, even in what Google tells you, but believe nothing that even your mind tells you. This is one of the most powerful practices one can have, to believe nothing that even your mind tells you, to not believe your thoughts, to question them, to challenge them, to assume nothing, to challenge everything. So, challenge me, challenge yourself, but first challenge yourself. As I challenge me all the time. My assumptions, my thoughts, my beliefs, everything. And I still need to have some to function in this world. So I use the beliefs and the decisions and the ways that I need to be able to deal with the world. But they're always open to another perspective, another dimension, another thought, another idea. Now that's how we'll outsmart AI, by not believing it, by not becoming zombies that look at it and just blindly believe whatever it is trying to tell us. If we start now with our media, if we start now with our minds, if we start now with each other, not believing ourselves, even the stuff our mind tells us about another person or about ourselves, the biggest practice will be inside yourself. Try it out. I'd love to know if you've done this before, if you've ever challenged your mind. I know it was one of the really famous people that I know of who used to talk about this was Byron Katie. I was doing this for a lot longer, even before I read her work. But I used to say to myself, prove it. I would tell my mind, prove it. How do you know? Where's the evidence? I would ask my mind to produce concrete evidence. And unless it could do so, I was not going to believe what it had to say. So I know Byron Katie puts it a different way. She talks about, is it true? Is it 100% true? Can you be absolutely sure? And you'll find that if you ask questions like that, then whether it's something happening in the media or in the news or it's something happening in the emerging world of AI or science or technology, where if you apply these questions to everything, like the Big Bang Theory, you can refute it and you can see its possibility. You can see, you can apply it to what the Democrats say and the Republicans say, and you can refute both sides. The idea is to believe nothing. The idea is to stay free from your thoughts. And that is how, Jennifer, as you asked the question, how do we create peace in the world? We create peace in the world one person at a time by finding peace within ourselves. And that peace comes when the mind it no longer has power over us. When we no longer give that power either to our mind, our thoughts, our emotions, our fears, our doubts, to the media, to each other, to society. We don't give that power to anyone to tell us what is right and what is wrong, who we are and who we are not, what we should do and what we shouldn't do. I'm not talking of just being a rebel. I'm talking of going beyond the rebel, because the rebel still thinks, oh, you think this is right? Well, I'm going to rebel and do the opposite of that, or I'm going to do something other than that. But I'm saying no. It's neither about the positive or the negative. It's neither about the right or the wrong. It's neither about this way nor that way. It's the way to freedom. Freedom from the mind, and freedom from the mind is equal to peace. Peace comes by being free from your mind. And the road to freedom is just this simple little tool: to not believe anything. So try it out and see how it works. Tell me if you've already done something like this, if it's how it's worked for you. Share with me in the comments. Am I being completely foolish in what I'm saying? Is this something you've tried? How do you feel this might affect us in being able to deal with artificial intelligence or even our present day world? How could we use this understanding, and what other understandings have you come across that might help us in being able to outsmart AI, outsmart our media, outsmart a world that is trying to tell us how we can live and how we shouldn't live, and who we are and what we are not? Zana says, learn how to stop your mind whisper. Be more clear in the question. I'll be happy to answer. I'm not sure I understand. So an example of my doing this, for example, would be listening to the views being presented by, let's say, one political party, let's say the Democrats, and then saying, what is the other side saying? The Republicans. Interesting. And then believing neither. I've come to a very simple understanding that might help you with this. You know how most people say, is the glass half empty or half full? And we either say it is half empty or it is half full, right? But I want to tell you something else. The glass is not either empty or either half empty or half full. It is simultaneously both half empty and half full at the same time. And if it is both half empty and half full, then it is neither half empty nor half full. Do you get what I'm saying? And you see, the whole presumption that was being led by the question, is it half empty or half full? The presumption was flawed. And similarly, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this good? Is this bad? If we can move beyond good and bad, beyond good and evil, beyond right and wrong, and if we can learn to just connect with our hearts and stick to the things that really matter. What matters is love. What matters is peace. What matters is that we care for and respect each other. These are the things that matter. And these are the things that no robot or artificial intelligence can emulate. These are the things that make us distinct. These are the things that come from our consciousness, from our heart, and they will always set us apart. It will make us impermeable, or that this emerging technologies will not be able to in any way affect us if we continue to stick to this idea. Another way to remember it might be plus 1, if you like a mathematical equation, plus 1 minus 1 equals 0, which means what you think and what I think. If what you think is plus 1 and I think is minus 1, if both were true simultaneously, then there would be no conflict, no argument. There would be no battle. If I could look at your point of view and my point of view at the same time, all conflict would dissolve. Similarly, all truth would dissolve. All sense of right and wrong would dissolve. And what would remain would just be this present moment. So that's the 0. Love to continue talking, but I don't want to make this too long. So I'm going to cut it off over here and let you ponder these thoughts, contemplate them, and please write your comments, think it over. Let me know your experience, your views, and I'd love to be able to continue in the chat with you. And I thank you so much for being here, taking part in this. I love you, and I look forward to connecting with you on a regular basis. For the rest of this year, at least, I'm going to keep doing this every weekday. And from next year, I'll see what kind of schedule we're going to have. But for now, thanks a lot for being here. I love you. Take care.